going on with Lady D today? I'm your host, Lady D. Join. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, and welcome, welcome to What's Going On with Lady D today. We're in for a really great show. Today we have just I call her my superstar because I look up to her. I really admire her and what she's done for our community and all the information that she brings to our seniors all throughout the year. So today we are going to honor and welcome Dannette Render, President, CEO, and founder of DAR Public Relations. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
I know you're going to wonder what we were laughing about. We're going to give you some things to laugh about through this show. Don't worry, because that's what's going on, some laughter. All right, so no further ado, Mrs. Render. Tell our listeners that who is not familiar with DAR Publications, who you are.
Well, I am the president and founder and CEO of DAR Public Relations. And before I begin, let me just say thank you so much for the opportunity to be here with you this afternoon and share with you and your listeners.
Awesome. Oh, so awesome. There you go. All right. So now I want to ask you a very important question because you have the Senior Expo coming up. And before we dive into that, because maybe our listeners didn't hear you in the beginning, will you let our listeners know about DAR Publications?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So the name of the company officially is DAR,
Okay.
Public Relations, and most people call it DAR because of my name, but it really does reflect my name. Those are my initials.
Okay.
So that's where the DAR came from. And so we were actually founded in 1984, and if you count back, that's actually 41 years. So we are celebrating 41 years as a business located here in Cuyahoga County in the Cleveland area. And so we're very happy to acknowledge that fact and the success that we started off primarily doing just public relations type activities. But over the years we've grown, and so now we're an integrated marketing agency, and our services are including public relations, marketing, advertising, as well as event planning. So because of that, sometimes you'll see us involved with a lot of events. Other times you'll see us on marketing campaigns or advertising campaigns or projects that involve a combination of all of those services. So we have a plethora of experience, as you can imagine, and it allows us to do a lot of different types of projects and services in our community.
That's awesome. And you've been at this for 41 years?
Yes.
Well, I know you have received some wonderful awards this year. So let's talk about some of those wonderful awards that you have received.
Okay. Well, it's been an exciting year. 41 years is a long time. And I have to start with the most recent one. And the most recent one is the Living Legend Award. And we're showing that and showcasing that today. Okay, we are focusing on that today for a moment. And I received the Living Legend Award most recently at the Who's Who in Black Cleveland Awards program. And I received the Living Legend Award as an acknowledgement of all of my years of hard work as an entrepreneur in our community, both locally, nationally, and even international work that we've done as a company. And so the legacy and the years and years of work is the basis for what led to a Living Legend Award. And I am extremely honored to be the recipient of such a prestigious award.
That is just truly outstanding, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And not to mention that you've also been in Code M
Yes.
magazine. And so, and there's been other awards that you've been given.
Yes, I was also in the Call and Post earlier this year for Women's History Month, and that was a special recognition as well. So we're just happy that we were able to be a part of the Code M magazine and work with their team and their operations, as well as Who's Who, and of course the Call and Post with that special recognition. So it's been a great year and an exciting year, and still hard even for me to believe that it's 41 years, but God's been good to me.
And it's awesome. So now, what has inspired you to start DAR
Okay.
and focus on serving our community?
Well, I'm a communications major at heart, always have had a very strong interest in communications and journalism and media. So that's really very natural for me. And so that was an easy transition for me when I decided to start my own company in 1984. And over the years, we've just grown, but the growth has been based on new and different opportunities. And as new and different opportunities come forward, we're never afraid to step in and take that challenge. Now, sometimes there's a projects that you know and expect and have a very strong background in, but sometimes there are things that are being presented to you that maybe you've never had that experience before. And we've been very fortunate and blessed to have had a lot, and I do mean a very large number of major projects and campaigns that are not always things that we may have immediately had a large background in terms of experience. But people were willing to give us a chance, and just like they were willing to give us a chance, we were ready to just jump right in. So I love that part about it. And ironically, when I made the transition to an entrepreneur, the one thing that I used to say and people used to laugh about is I used to always tell people I was bored. This is just so boring. I kept thinking, I went to college to get a degree, and this is all I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I was bored. I was bored stiff. And I kept saying, but intellectually, I know I have a greater capacity to do a whole lot more.
Right.
And as I started to make that transition, being involved with the communications field in more depth and doing projects that involve that use of my intellectual capacity, but also to be creative. As those creative juices started flowing, the more times people would ask me to do things that were different, the better. And that really, really gets my adrenaline going. I love research. And so you give me a new project, and if it involves research, we're right on it. Because
That's
is
good.
what makes me tick, and that's just who I am.
And there's nothing like a challenge.
Yes.
Challenging keeps you going.
Yes.
And you also, with that challenge, you get to learn something you didn't know
That's right.
before.
That's
and
right.
you get to get better at it.
Yes.
And the more you do it, the better you get. And speaking of the better that you get, you're taking over here now with this Senior Expo. You're bringing this to our communities, and you're giving our seniors a lot of information. So can you tell us about the mission and the vision behind the Seniors Caregivers Expo?
Well, we came up with the concept for the Seniors and Caregivers Expo as a result of personally being involved with our parents aging. And as our parents were aging, we realized that there was just so much that we did not know about the aging process and about the medical field and all the professional resources that were needed, but that there was an expectation. The expectation is that you should know. And so we had to learn it, and we had to learn it very quickly. But as you're learning it, you suddenly say, that's a lot of information. And when myself and my husband both were going through this, we realized that we had just more information than we could even wrap our arms around. But we were seeing other people experiencing the same thing. So everybody has this need, but we're all in this together more or less, and none of us know where to start with the medical profession. But yet our parents are aging, everybody around us is aging, and how do we help them? And we are educated professionals, but yet we really don't know where to start. And there's not even anybody you can necessarily ask. And so once we finished our area in which we were working and trying to help with our parents, we said, we can't keep this information to ourselves. We need to share this because I was talking to different family members and other friends and sharing things with them. They didn't know. And then I said, well, a whole lot of other people might need this too. And honestly, the first time we had our expo, we didn't have a large response, not at all. But what we found out was that the need was huge because after the event, people were calling us. That was such a good idea. That was wonderful. When are you going to do it again? At that point, we weren't even necessarily thinking about doing it again. But it made us realize that the need was great. And there were people calling and apologizing and saying, I know I didn't make it, but could you please help me with this?
Right.
And so what has evolved is a very, very strong mission of service and assistance to seniors. We realize now that our seniors, as we all know, are growing, and every day the number of seniors grows by leaps and bounds. The number is humongous in terms of the number of seniors that are people that are becoming of age. And as they're becoming of age, they don't know how to age in place. They don't know about Medicare. They don't know about Medicaid. They don't know if I had to go on assisted living, what are the rules? What are the requirements? How many days can I get help under my Medicare or under my insurance plan? And the list of questions is very, very long. And the information will be provided to you if you're put in that situation, but it's thrown at you. And
Okay.
that's the difference. The information is thrown at you. They give it to you once and they move on.
Right.
And it's so much deeper than that. And because of that, we realize now we have to help each other. So many of us are baby boomers, and there's another whole group of people right behind us.
Yes.
And all of us need that assistance.
Yes.
And so at the same time, while we're helping our family members and helping other people that we know, friends and relatives, we're also helping ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And you mentioned caregivers. That is a big job itself.
Yes.
And let's talk about how this expo is going to be able to help our caregivers.
Okay. Well, one of the things that we do at the expo is we take a look at what are the immediate needs that our seniors have requirements for assistance. So when we go to a community center and decide to work with them, we're going to ask that question. What do
Okay.
your seniors need? What are they telling you? How are you helping them? What is an area that maybe you don't have enough information about that maybe we can provide some assistance with that? So let's take one for example.
Okay, great.
Transportation.
Yes.
Transportation for seniors to get to medical appointments, to go to the grocery store, to maybe go and pick up a prescription, depending on where you live. All of those are things that seniors have a major need for, and their resources are very limited. Very limited. And we're not even talking about somebody who has to go to a medical appointment and needs to have special types of transportation beyond just a basic wheelchair.
Okay.
They need a special type of ambulance or assistance, emergency medical services that might have to come and get them. They don't know where to start. And again, this is what we try to do. We want to have somebody there that represents a transportation company. Maybe you know you're going to have a medical procedure in a couple months and you're going to need a special van to come and pick you up. We will have somebody there who can provide that service. Here's our literature, here's our card.
Right.
Call us and we'll be right there for you. So we're constantly coming up with many new types of needs that seniors are having and providing them with that. But I have to say this because this is critical at this point in time.
Okay.
The Medicare and especially Medicaid requirements are going to change. Most likely it's going to be effective January 1. We're reading about it and we're hearing about it in the news, but it is incumbent that all seniors, whether you're on Medicare or Medicaid, meet and talk with their insurance representative, because you may not have had any changes or made any changes for years, but
Right.
there could be changes in what the your insurance is going to cover for your medicine. Maybe it was always covered before, all of it. All of a sudden now you may have to pay for it, or you may have to pay some portion of it, and you may not know that. Maybe you need to change insurance plans because this other plan will cover some of your medications. If you miss the window of opportunity to have that discussion with your insurance representative and you don't go over your medications and anything else that could be costly related to your care, you could look up and have a very major bill, or you might not even have coverage at all in some instances for some of these things. So it becomes critical that all seniors that are receiving Medicare and Medicaid, regardless of which one it is, it doesn't matter, you must talk with your insurance representative. And if you don't have one, that's okay too. But then that means you got to come to the Senior Expo.
And that's right.
You have to come to the Senior
Yes,
Expo
yes.
because we're going to have representatives from insurance carriers there. We're going to have the companies that are providing these services. And you may not even necessarily have a representative that you work with from these companies. Maybe you signed up 20, 30 years ago. But if you know that you have, and I don't really want to promote any one company,
Right.
but I'm going to promote one because they're sponsors, so I guess it's okay for that. But for example, United Healthcare.
Okay.
A lot of people have United Healthcare, okay? United Healthcare has representatives who will be present at our event. But if you can't come to the expo, you can still pick up the phone and call them. And you need to take advantage and know that you need to call and find out. But the representatives there can't answer those types of questions.
Right.
That's why you want to come to the Senior Expo. So we have vendors that provide home health care. We're always going to do blood pressure screenings. We have assisted living places that come out so you can learn more about those. We also have representatives that discuss clinical trials. Many times people of color are not interested in participating in clinical trials, but yet the need is huge for people of color to participate in clinical trials, because not only is it going to help you, and it can help your relatives and people for many, many years to come if you participate. So it's definitely something that we have to learn to do, even though we all may have our apprehensions. But once you talk to the people and learn about it, it does tend to calm people down and help them to feel better about it.
Right. Because the more education you get about it, it knocks out that fear. It takes
Yes.
away that fear.
Yes.
Okay. And nothing beats being afraid. But if you come and you learn and you get educated and you talk to people, because a lot of times you may be embarrassed to ask certain questions.
That's true.
And I know it, and now it's very important because it's that time of year that you need to start signing up for your new
Yes, that's right.
medication.
That's
You know, your Medicaid or your Medicare, these different programs.
Yes.
And because I noticed last year, I won't mention my health care, but they took away a few things where they provided it, but you had to pay out of pocket first. Then they would refund you the money. And I'm like, so who has that kind of money to pay up front and, to get the service and then wait for a check to come back?
Yes.
So it's good to have a consultant. And I know there are medical consultants that will talk with you, because I have one to come to my home.
Okay.
And he goes over and look at my plan.
Yes.
He pulls up that Medicaid
Okay,
book
okay,
plan,
okay.
goes over everything. And
that's
then,
great.
like you said, keep a list of your medications because the prices change all the time and some things are not covered. And you want to find the plan that's going to basically cover everything that you need. And then you can weigh the options of what you can pay for and which, make those changes.
Right. But it is critical timing because open enrollment is going to be starting in October. And with open enrollment coming, it's going to be very, very important for seniors to get as much information as possible. But more importantly, don't be afraid to ask.
Yes.
And at these events, we have more than enough vendors that are going to be there that can answer the questions for you. And one of the things we found is sometimes when we do have somebody go up and make a presentation, after the presentation, then all of a sudden their booth is swarming with more people because people were afraid to ask.
Right.
They're a little timid, but unfortunately, this is not the time to be timid. If it's something that you need to know, you need to ask someone. And also at our resource fairs, if you find that, say you're looking for something and you don't seem to see that vendor there. One guy was looking for senior housing, and we at that particular expo we didn't have a senior housing representative there, but there was someone else that represented an organization there that could get him to the proper place. And so we took them over to that particular table, and that made a difference. Just yesterday we had an extremely successful event out in Macedonia.
Okay.
And I'm happy to say we had over 260 seniors yesterday come out in Macedonia.
Wow,
it was
that's
unbelievable.
nice.
And we've been there before, but
Right.
every year it just continues to grow. And we had one gentleman that came in. He said he was telling me what he was looking for, and I stopped and I looked around. I said, "Well, no, we don't have anybody here. But based on the plan that you had, there is an insurance representative here that I'm sure can answer those questions."
Right.
And I took him right over to him, and he's like, "Oh, wow." And he was so grateful. We had a young lady who wanted some assistance with things that were really related to safety in her home.
Okay.
She was actually a senior, but she was being bullied
Oh, wow.
by a neighbor, and she didn't know what to do.
Wow.
And she was scared. And she said, "This probably isn't anything you can help us with." And it was different. I mean, obviously, it was a very different question and scenario to be faced with. But I was able to take her to the director of the program at the center where we were at.
Okay.
And I said to her, "This is one of your seniors. She lives in this area, but she needs help with this.
Right.
Who can you call?"
Right.
And she said, "I know just who to call."
Great.
And she gave her the phone number and all the information. But she also said to her, "If this doesn't work, don't hesitate to call us back, because
Right.
we're going to help you." And so that's the bottom line motive behind this situation and the reason why we have this Senior Expo. We are here to help seniors and caregivers to make their life easier, because we all, whether or not we're a senior now, we're going to be there one day, and we're going to need somebody to help us. So we may as well get started now.
Now, I'm going to ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is a senior in 2025? Who came up with the term senior?
Well, I don't know who came up with the term senior,
Okay.
but seniors are classified as people 55 and over.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I'm seasoned, and I'm over 55.
Yes. And the people that are 55 don't always necessarily want to think of themselves as a senior.
Okay.
But you can go to AARP and look at their description of a senior. But there are many, many services and discounts and programs that are available for people when they turn 55 and over. Now, some people call the 55-year-olds what is known as a near senior.
Oh, a
And a
near.
near senior is
Oh.
almost
Oh, dear.
a real senior, which is considered the 60 plus.
Okay.
But the near seniors are still in that category.
Okay.
And at a certain point in time, you're going to get an AARP card. And at certain times, you'll get a Golden Buckeye card from Ohio. And all that's based on when your birthday hits. But once your birthday hits, it's coming.
It's coming.
It's definitely coming.
So, who talked to you about getting old?
That's just it. That's the big question that we're all asking each other.
Because, ain't nobody talked to me about when I get older, when I become a senior.
Yes. Nobody asked that question, and nobody told us how to get old. And that's the big question today. How do you age? How do you deal with the fact, well, I don't go to work anymore. I don't really have anything to do every day. But yet, I'm vibrant. I can do some things. And that's why you're seeing more seniors work longer. And that's good for them. For some people, that's important for them to just stay healthy and to keep moving.
Yes.
But clearly, none of us have really been taught about aging. But we're aging gracefully now. We're aging in place.
Yes.
We're living much, much longer. We're living in our homes much longer. We're able to travel and do so many things that many of our family members, if you think back, and friends who were our age, never had that chance.
Right.
And we have that opportunity in front of us. And what's interesting for us with this journey, with the caregivers that every event we're going to learn something different or something new that somebody is doing. And at every community center that we do, and I should say, we are traveling around the state of Ohio.
Okay.
Our event has grown. So while we initially were just in Cleveland and Cuyahoga County, we are now going statewide.
Awesome.
And in every location that we go to, we learn something new about what's of interest to those seniors, and what kinds of programs and services they have. And in one particular center in Austintown, which is a suburb of Youngstown, they just asked the seniors point blank, what do you want to do? What makes you feel excited? What makes you want to get up in the morning? And whatever those seniors tell them that they want to do, it is their mission to find a way to make it happen.
All right.
And that's a beautiful thing.
That
is beautiful.
And speaking of beautiful, tell our listeners about your Senior Expo that's coming up right now.
Okay, great. On Tuesday of next week, we are having our Senior Expo at none other than Jack Thistledown Racino.
Okay.
For all of you that are Racino and casino fans, it's your chance to come out to Jack Thistledown Racino. It's Senior Day, which many of you probably already know. Tuesdays are Senior Day at Jack Thistledown, and they're going to have some special promotional activities going on just for the seniors that come that day. So you got to come out and find out about the special promotions for the seniors that are at the Jack Thistledown, and you have to come to the expo. So when you come to the Senior Expo, you'll learn all about what they have, the specials just for our seniors that day. But it's going to be a fun day. We are having in excess of 30 vendors.
Okay.
And they're all providing different services. And again, we really want to emphasize the Senior Expo is free. There is no cost whatsoever for you to come to this event and get the resources. So if you need information, we have the information and we have the resources. We have a little small directory that has all kinds of just about anything you can think of that you might need as a resource. And in this little booklet, you get to take it home. We give you a swag bag full of all kinds of information. We're going to have music. We're going to have our own Maria is going to be there. Maria Daniels is going to be there.
Okay.
And she's going to sing a few songs that the seniors like, oldies but goodies. And we're also going to have this MC Smooth. He does demonstrations of ballroom dancing.
Okay.
They're going to come out. And we're also going to do some chair exercises. So we try to make it a fun day. We don't want you to just come and grab all the literature, put it in your bag, and just walk out. Nope. We want it to be an opportunity for seniors to talk to each other and share with each other.
And what time will that be?
From 10 to 2.
Okay.
And that's on Tuesday, September 23rd at Jack Thistledown from 10 to 2, our Senior and Caregivers Expo.
And what's the address if they
The
are not
address
familiar?
is, for those who are not familiar, it is 21501 Emory Road at the corner of Emory Road and Northfield. Or you can hit it from Warrensville as well. 21501 Emory Road, and that's in North Randall, Ohio. And most of you probably know it's across the street from the Amazon plant.
Excellent. And will you have another expo coming before the year is out?
Yes, we actually have 6 more before the year is over with. So we do now have an email site that says Seniors and Caregivers Expo, and we are constantly posting the new posters and flyers as they become available. We don't like to do it too far in advance because seniors tend to forget, but on average 6 to 8 weeks out, we will promote the next series. But we will go all the way through December.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So now that's what's going on. Come on out and get your information. Caregivers, bring some friends with you because we all can use this knowledge. I think I'm going to show up because I need some information myself.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Listen, I'll be back next week, same time, same place. KAZ Radio TV Network. And I'm Lady D. Thanks for watching. Join us every Thursday, and you too can be a guest straight from KAZ Radio Podcast Studio.